The letter arrived, folded like a dream. No stamp, no return address, only her name written in ink that shimmered faintly in the light. Ilara turned it over in her hands twice before opening it. Inside, one sentence. There is a place where time grows soft, follow when you're ready, and a map, but not a typical one. No towns, no roads, just a series of silver lines meandering through parchment like rivers with no name. In the center, beneath an inky moon, were the words, "The Hourglass Orchards." Ilara didn't pack anything. There was no need. She didn't know what she would need. And for once, that felt right. Her days had been stacked like books with no pages, all covers, no content, meetings, calls, clocks, time ticking dot. So she stepped out the door, map in hand, and walked toward where the ink suggested the world didn't resist. The wind even seemed to sigh in relief. After a while, maybe hours, maybe just a long moment, the trees changed. Not in species, but in silence. These trees stood taller, more gently. Their shadows pooled softly. And in the distance, she saw a gate, old, wooden, and wide open. She passed through it, and the hush wrapped around her like dusk. Asterisk, the orchard stretched out like a dream on pause, rows of tall, ancient trees with leaves like glass and bark patterned with swirling rings of gold. The air shimmered slightly, not with heat, but with stillness. From the branches hung fruit that looked like hourglasses. Tiny ones, big ones, some round, some curved, all softly glowing. Within each, sand fell slowly, some in steady streams, others in gentle flickers, and some completely still, as if mid-thought. Ilara reached up toward a low-hanging one, warm and humming faintly. A voice behind her stopped her hand. Not that one. It's still ripening. She turned. A woman stood nearby, robes woven from shadows and dusklight. Her eyes were kind, but deeply quiet, like they held stories with no need to be told. "I'm the keeper," she said. "This is the orchard. You must walk slowly here. The fruit listens." Ilara lowered her hand. "What do they do?" "They hold time," the keeper said, stepping closer. "Some are full of moments already lived, some of time not yet past, but the ripest ones," she smiled, "they hold stillness, the kind that softens your breath." Ilara followed her between the trees. The leaves overhead made no sound, and the grass below felt like woven velvet. Every now and then, a soft clink would echo through the orchard, the sound of a tiny hourglass falling and settling in the moss. Its sand paused mid-fall. People come here when they've forgotten how to rest, the keeper said. You must listen for your hourglass. It will call you when you're ready. Ilara walked deeper into the hushed dots, and somewhere, softly, the orchard began to hum. Asterisk days didn't pass here, not in the way clocks would understand. Ilara had wandered under the hourglass trees without hunger, without fatigue. She simply was, and in that being, she began to feel something uncoil inside her chest. She watched the fruit. Some hourglasses blinked like fireflies. Others gave off a slow pulse of golden light. One tree near the center grew no leaves, only strands of silk that dripped with time like honey. Pooling in hollowed stones below. Ilara sat near it, letting the scent of quiet wrap around her. The air smelled like things you don't remember, forgetting warm paper, wind on skin, an old song with no words. She began to notice that the orchard breathed, not in and out, but in cycles, a slow unfolding, then stillness, a long exhale, then rest. The keeper moved gently through it all, whispering to branches, catching a fallen hourglass before it touched the ground. Why do they fall? Ilara asked one evening. The keeper knelt beside her. Sometimes a moment ripens and is ready to be remembered. If no one picks it, the orchard lets it go. Ilara touched one that had landed beside her. Its sand had frozen, one half full, the other waiting within it. She saw herself younger, laughing beneath a tree, no phone in sight, hands buried in autumn leaves. A memory, not lost, just misplaced. She cradled it in her hands. And for a moment, she forgot the word hurry. Asterisk, one night, the stars dipped lower, as if the sky itself wanted to rest beside the orchard. Ilara walked without thinking, her feet guiding her past trees that bowed slightly as she passed. She reached a glade. In its center stood a single tree, not tall, not grand, but gently glowing. It held only one hourglass, large and slow. The sand inside did not fall. It waited. The keeper appeared beside her, silent. This one is yours, she said. Ilara reached out, and as her fingers touched it, time shifted. She was home again, not just seeing it, but being in it. Rain pattered against windows. A book sat open. Her younger self sat curled on the floor, doing nothing. And yet, in that moment, she felt completely full. Then it faded. Back in the orchard, she held the hourglass to her chest. I'd forgotten how stillness feels, she whispered. The keeper nodded. Most do. but stillness doesn't forget you." Ilara breathed in, and the orchard breathed with her. Ilara lingered in the orchard longer than she could name, not in hours or days, for those had long dissolved into stillness, but in presence. She walked each path with quiet reverence, letting the orchard unfold its gentle farewell with the kind of patience found only in the space between seconds. The hourglass pendant now hung softly at her chest, its glass warm to the touch, as though filled not with sand, but the memory of slow, looming peace. It pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat echoing her own. She retraced her steps through familiar rows, each tree a gentle companion. Some leaned as she passed, their hourglass fruit shimmering in the soft dusk. Others remained upright and serene, content in their watching. Occasionally, a soft tinkle would chime in the air, another moment ripening, another second being set free. Ilara bent to catch one. It was small and pale lavender. Inside, the grains of sand floated, suspended. The image it held was simple. Her sitting on a swing beneath a fig tree, sunlight caught in her hair, her hands quiet in her lap, not doing anything, just being. She had no memory of it, but it was hers. A moment lost in a life too full of motion. She smiled gently, set it back down in the moss dot near the tree that had gifted her hourglass. She sat again. The grass beneath her was plushed with hush, and the stars above had leaned low once more, as if listening to the slow rhythm of her breath. She closed her eyes and inhaled deeply, not just air, but the scent of memory, a blend of parchment, cool leaves, and candlelight. Time in the orchard didn't end, it soft. The keeper appeared quietly beside her, her robes rippling in an unseen tide. "It's almost time," the keeper said softly. Ilara nodded. "I don't want to forget." "You won't," the keeper said. "Stillness leaves an imprint, even where clocks return." They stood together beneath the wide, glowing branche, the single tree at the center of the orchard, the one that bore no fruit, only slow, drifting strands of light, pulsed once, and a golden breeze whispered through the leaves. "You carry the orchard now," the keeper added. "Not in your hands, in your rhythm." Ilara looked to the pendant again. The sand inside had started to move slowly, gently, like a river waking from slumber. She felt no urgency, only readiness. "What happens to the orchard when I leave?" she asked. The keeper's voice was steady. "It waits, it grows, for you and for others. No one truly leaves it. They only walk with it, tucked beneath their breath, until the hush returns." Ilara stepped through the paths one final time. She paused beside the silk drop tree, watching its threads drip into shallow pools of time, each one singing with a silence deeper than thought. She placed her hand on its bark, and for a moment felt every still breath she'd taken within this sacred place. At the orchard gate, the keeper stood waiting, lantern in hand, not lit, but gently glowing with the same quiet light as the pendant Ilara wore. "You will remember how to pause," the keeper said, "and when you do, the trees will bloom again." Ilara nodded, hats off, gaze steady, and with a step that felt like an exhale, she walked through. The morning outside her window was not loud. It was slow, golden, and filled with the subtle sounds of life beginning again. Ilara woke in her bed, though the word woke didn't feel quite right. She hadn't returned from sleep, but from stillness, from presence. Her pendant rested softly against her skin, glowing with a light no sun could mimic. She sat up, listened. No clocks, no alarms, just the quiet hum of a world that, for once, wasn't rushing her. She went to the window. The leaves stirred gently. Her breath followed, and deep inside her, below the heartbeat, beneath the thoughts, she felt the orchard still breathing. It would never leave her. It would bloom behind her eyes in every moment of peace. And when she paused, truly paused, the hourglasses would start to glow again. Time had not been lost, it had been replanted, and now its quiet gardener would carry it gently, one still moment at a time.